guys, Rogue Nation here with you today, and have we got another story for you? Another mayor that's just simply out of control. And when people say, what's wrong, this is a prime example of what's wrong right now in this country. We're going to go over a lot of stuff. This mayor, again, is definitely someone who's out of control. Her own board of trustees is suing her, and with good reason. She needs to pay back some of this money that she's been pilfering off the citizens for so long. So there's a couple of news reports we're going to get into. There's a board meeting that we're going to look at. So it's going to be a little bit of time on this video, but it's important that we expose stuff like this so that citizens can again make correct choices in who's leading them. But once a person like this gets out of power, you can't just assume that the job's done, right? We need citizens out there at these board meetings looking over these papers. When people ask me if they can help, or how they can help me, they can help me by helping themselves, right? They can look at what's going on in their cities and towns, and if it needs exposing, then they can bring it to me, or we can work on a way to get the information out to the public. But there's so many little municipalities out there, and I don't live there, so I have no clue. So we need citizens, you guys, patriots out there watching these board meetings, pulling these records, pulling these contracts, pulling these credit card statements. And then, again, if you need help exposing that stuff, let me know, or if you want to leave your name off of it for retaliation purposes, let me know. But we definitely got to start doing more of it. So I'm not going to talk during the video. We'll go over everything at the end, okay?
40 minutes south of Chicago, you'll find Dalton, Illinois. The median income is $24,000 a year, and yet the mayor collects more than 10 times that amount from various elected positions. And as we found, a paycheck isn't the only perk. In south suburban Dalton, the economic challenges run deep.
We still have areas that need trees cut, streets paved, alleys paved, sidewalks fixed. It's a lot of that going on.
And a lot that's being spent, not on critical repairs, but on travel, meals, and more by many top village officials.
It's an issue. It's been an issue for some time.
We just look up and we're paying for stuff. And it just makes no sense. She's just doing what she wants to do.
None of them do the things that we do here. We the only ones making sure y'all streets get paid, find ways to fix what is broken.
She is Mayor Tiffany Henyard.
But then they running y'all, tell y'all this little fictitious story.
Would you like to just do an interview with me?
Yeah, I got you.
Well, let's go. I mean,
right.
In addition to leading Dalton, she also serves as supervisor of Thornton Township. You make almost $300,000 between your two elected positions.
I do not. I don't know where you got that number from.
We got it from her own village and township records.
These are tax dollars.
So is the money being spent on village credit cards. WGN Investigates obtained copies of statements that reveal village officials have spent more than $24,000 at restaurants in just 1 year, including this Midlothian barbecue joint and a South Holland sub shop.
I've seen the same thing and more. You name it, they've done it.
Other questionable expenses include the streaming service Hulu, flights to Texas, Alabama, and Missouri, and hotel rooms in nearby suburbs, including Madison and Elk Grove Village, plus thousands of dollars spent at a hotel in downstate Pontiac.
My take is this: if they are going to something that's going to benefit the village, that's fine. But from my standpoint of view, These things don't benefit the village at all.
And then there are the trips to Las Vegas. Mayor Henyard and other top officials traveled to Sin City in May to attend a shopping center conference. It's unclear if it helped Dalton land any deals.
Don't have a clue. We're all in the dark. Not only are the residents in the dark, but the trustees are also in the dark as well.
I do not handle anything as relates to with credit cards. As you heard me speak today in my board meeting about, I do not handle that.
Some of those charges are for you, though.
No, sir.
You didn't go to Las Vegas? What is that?
No comment.
You don't know if you were in Las Vegas?
Of course I do.
Were you?
It's not paid by them.
Did you fly first class to Las Vegas?
Any other questions?
Actually, yes. The credit card records do shed some light on tax dollars spent at several restaurants near the Strip, including Cafe Hollywood and Hot and Juicy Crawfish.
All right, any other questions?
So you're not going to answer how taxpayer dollars are being spent? That seems odd.
I just answered it. What do you mean? I just answered your questions.
You said you wouldn't answer about Las Vegas.
You asked me a question and I responded. So any other questions you may have?
They may have signed up for a conference, but they never bring anything back. So we have no idea why they go to these trips.
Remember, we mentioned Henyard was also supervisor at Thornton Township. WGN Investigates obtained copies of that agency's credit card statements as well. They show township taxpayers also spent money on the Vegas trip on everything from steak dinners to hotels, and $3,741 just on Henyard's round-trip flight.
But I shouldn't have to sit up here and break all this down.
When trustees refused to pay a big block of bills this week, the mayor accused them of putting vital city services in jeopardy.
We need receipts to understand what's going on.
We couldn't help but notice the red hat perched in front of Mayor Henyard throughout the meeting. It's from the Bubba Gump Shrimp Company, which, by the way, was apparently a stop on the Vegas trip. $303 billed to Thornton Township taxpayers.
We just feel lost, and we just want the powers that be to step in and say, hey, you know, something's got to give.
Is there anybody else? I just want to be clear. Anybody else after that? Is that it? That's it?
We sought specifics from Dalton and Thornton Township about these credit card charges, expenses, and how they benefited taxpayers, but received no clarity. Mayor Henyard invited us to come back to Dalton and the township to showcase upcoming turkey giveaways, senior programs, and plans for an ice rink. Proof, she says, that she lives up to her moniker, the People's Mayor. Ben Bradley, WGN Investigates.
But at the end of the day, nobody comes here to argue with you. Nobody at all. There are bills that we have the right to take off. We have the right to make decisions about. You say that you're running it at the end of the day, because this is going to be the narrative. When we go broke, you're going to say, I wasn't even on the bank account. The trustees did it. When at the end of the day, you're making decisions and spending money and then get mad when we don't approve it because it's not financially sound. I sat here and looked at a lease that y'all's paying $149,000 for one of them trucks. You make absolute, that's like when you're 19 years old and you go get a car and the interest rate 27%. That makes absolutely no sense. You're not making great finance, excuse me?
Please state facts.
But let me tell you, here it is, dated December 27, 2022, the cash price of a 2023 Chevy Tahoe, $93,216.71. Interest and APR, $55,929.49. Total lease price, $149,146.20. Tell me if it's not facts, because your signature is all on it.
I don't see that.
Okay, but you want me to pass?
I don't.
All right.
I'll
but
get
at
my
the
statement
end,
in a
at
few
the
minutes
end
when
of
you
the
finish.
day, it's not about going back and forth with you. It's about making financial decisions that is in the benefit of everybody and just not one person. And you can't seem to understand that. Have a great day.
Can the Dalton Police Department afford to have this many officers attached to her detail?
We can. We really need them patrolling the streets. So she's the part-time mayor of a South suburban village of a little more than 20,000 people.
Yet residents of Dalton are paying hundreds of thousands of dollars per year to provide security for their self-proclaimed super mayor.
Tonight, Fox 32 investigates Tiffany Henyard's security detail and the massive amount of overtime it is generating for a handful of officers. Our Dane Placco has more.
Hey guys, this is Super Mayor Tiffany A. Henyard, the People's Mayor and People's Supervisor.
Tiffany Henyard makes nearly $250,000 a year serving as both Mayor of Dalton and Thornton Township Supervisor, an elected political double dip. She's charismatic and controversial.
Nobody knows something. Don't nobody know nothing.
Here she is starting a Dalton Village board meeting dressed like the Wesley Snipes character in the movie New Jack City. Later, punctuating her political points with the help of her own DJ.
Every single resident. Pay me what you owe me. Thank you, DJ.
And it's hard to turn anywhere in Dalton without seeing Henyard's picture, or online, where she recently commemorated 9/11 with her own photo.
I want to ask you a few questions.
Okay.
But when we asked Henyard a few months ago about her use of tax dollars, she was quickly hustled out of the room by armed security. And on Facebook, in videos posted by Henyard herself, we see her being driven around and surrounded by Dalton officers, which got us to wondering, why all the cops?
We weren't opposed to her having the security detail. We asked how long and how often.
Dalton trustee Brittany Norwood says Henyard began assembling her details shortly after being elected in 2021, using hand-picked Dalton police officers. Using a Freedom of Information request, we obtained the work records for 6 of the officers assigned to Henyard's security detail at various times, and showed them to some of Dalton's trustees.
This is a Freedom of Information request we did to see how much overtime these officers are making on her security detail.
Oh, wow.
162 hours.
162. Well, that's nothing. What goes through your mind when you see these numbers?
It's disappointing. It's frustrating.
The officers are paid every 2 weeks, which without overtime is 80 hours. But when they're put on Henyard's detail, that 80 hours balloons to well over 100 hours, sometimes 200 hours. And in the case of Officer Terry Young last May, 303 hours worked over a 2-week period. That resulted in a single paycheck of more than $13,000.
How? How does a person put in a 2-week pay period, 303 hours? That's impossible. That's impossible.
There's 336
Does he
hours.
never go to sleep?
In fact, there are 336 hours total in 2 weeks, meaning Young was not being paid for only 33 hours over that period. Other officers on the security detail are also racking up overtime paychecks in the multiple thousands of dollars.
Mayor, mind if I ask you a couple of questions about your security detail?
Absolutely not.
I'm asking her.
Yeah, she said so.
A couple weeks ago, we tried to question Henyard about her detail as she went door to door in Dalton giving out water on a 100-degree day, surrounded by police, firefighters, public works employees, and 2 videographers documenting for Dalton's Facebook page.
I want to tell the people I'm not going to stop. I'm going to keep going. I hope they post what we actually do here in the Village of Dalton and stop telling lies.
But when we gave her an opportunity to explain the OT,
Mayor, why do you need so many officers, details, in your security?
What did you say, water? It sounded like you said water.
earlier that day, we watched as a Dalton cop drove Henyard from her other job at Thornton Township to a Mexican restaurant for lunch. Trustees say the security detail picks the mayor up at her home in the morning and is with her until she's dropped off at night, often taking her on errands and shopping.
Does she need a security detail?
Absolutely not. Why? Why would you need a security detail?
Oh, she loves it. She just loves it. She loves the detail. I think it makes her feel as if she's like a superstar.
Dalton trustees have filed a lawsuit against Henyard, saying she's not justified the need for security and is spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on it without the board's approval.
I see no justification whatsoever, and more than that, it's really a detriment to the residents of Dalton.
How so?
The residents, if we would take the same money and put it on officers patrolling the streets, then the residents will see a much better presence and public safety would be better.
We've had a few shootings, so we need the extra police patrolling our streets instead of patrolling her.
And we found Dalton credit card statements showing that Henyard takes the detail with her even when she travels out of town, spending thousands of dollars on plane tickets, lodging, and meals for the officers.
Mayor, why are you taking all the officers out of town with you? Isn't that a waste of taxpayers' money?
Let's go to this one right here.
Anything you want to say to defend yourself on this?
As for the village's finances, trustees say Dalton is now getting sued by some vendors for failure to pay its bills.
In the last 2 fiscal years, we're $5 million in the hole, and a big part of it is the security detail.
It's embarrassing.
Embarrassing.
It's embarrassing. You don't see the governor with a detail as hers.
That lawsuit over the mayor's detail has not yet been settled. On Monday, we emailed a list of detailed questions to Henyard's spokesman, but never received a response. Dane Placco, Fox 32, Chicago.
She thought once she explained the one officer's paycheck containing 303 hours, that everyone would see it was due to a misunderstanding. He used his comp time that needed to be cashed out, which increased his hours. Okay, well, he still worked 143 hours in overtime. 80 regular plus 143 overtime equals 223 hours total. That means if he worked every day of the 14 days, then he averaged 16 hours a day. Even with her explanation, it doesn't make the situation or paycheck acceptable. As you can see by the paychecks below, there is no shortage of overtime hours when you are on the mayor's detail. One more thing, since the mayor doesn't think overtime is that big of a deal when it comes to spending, let's look at what the total was for fiscal year 2023. As you can see, the budget allowed for $406,000. The actual was $1,469,861.68, meaning they went over budget by $1 million in overtime alone. The mayor either thinks no one will notice, or she is so ignorant she doesn't care. This is the problem with narcissists. They only think of themselves, but sell it as what they are doing for the people.
And I have a few questions. I usually address my remarks towards the mayor and the administrator, but I don't usually get answers, so I'm going to address my remarks to the audience. Okay. Did you have the pleasant surprise of getting a call from the mayor today announcing FEMA? My question is, why can't we get those calls when these seven meetings have been canceled in the last few months, and we didn't get any notification other than something on media, not on media, on social media, and possibly a notice on the door, but we didn't get any phone calls for any of those 7 meetings. They had to call a special meeting last Tuesday, September the 25th, a legal, by state of Illinois law, meeting, September 25th, in order to make up for the last meeting that was abruptly canceled with absolutely no warning to us. If you can make a phone call for something that you want to promote, you can make a phone call for something that benefits the residents. That doesn't make any sense to do these things and keep doing it over and over 7 times this year alone. Also, for the record, one of the contractors came there asking us for damn near $400,000 to cut some trees that he had been told that we did not have the money for and has no contract whatsoever. So basically he was told to go get your money from who you signed the contract with, because you don't have a contract with anybody as far as the board is concerned or the people that live here in Dalton. So for you to come here and ask us for $400,000 with no paper behind it other than what you've been told by 2 or 3 people, you got to be the biggest damn fool I ever saw in business.
Quiet, please. Good evening, everyone. My name is Edward Seed, former trustee Edward Seed. Good to see the board, the mayor, the administration, the trustees. You can watch this last board meeting that we had was on the Dalton Trustees YouTube page. I really want to address the law of the city of Dalton. The Village of Dalton says the trustees pick the committees, and the mayor doesn't follow that. It is hard, Brother Stan, to see you struggle with them numbers. Struggle when you don't legally, you don't have the right to do it, but you don't follow the law of the village. You follow the law of the mayor. The reality is, the saying is, we want our town to look like Orland Park. Don't you want your town like Orland Park? You'll never have a town to look like Orland Park when you got a mayor that will dress up like Nino Brown, will have a DJ at a board meeting, or put clapback videos at night with the light in their face like a scary movie. You'll never have that type of representation. Notice that the mayor used the term fake news. Who used the term fake news? A notorious liar who will lie about everything. You can have Trump on tape saying something, and he'll say fake news. He'll say, do your investigation, all the reports, all the money that's being spent frivolously, irresponsible, without board approval. It's unacceptable. And if you accept that because you can get a roof or you can give trees which is all well and good, but she's blowing up the budget without the board of trustees. You got a finance person in Jason House, which that's his profession. Kiana Belcher, that's her profession, but they're not on the town village trustees, town finances at all, because it's personal. So it's not about what's right and what's wrong. Brother Stan, you got to stand up. That's why I congratulate you that night I won. But you won, I congratulated you because I wanted you to stand up because you know it's right. You've been a 30-year resident. You say that all the time, and you let her and you demean yourself by struggling through the numbers. That's not 33 years. That's not even your position. It should be the other trustees' position because they make the laws and the rules and the sounding committees. But he don't follow what the board says, the law says. You follow what the mayor says. That's the trouble. That's it. Follow the Dalton Trustee YouTube page and the Facebook page because there's going to be more content because there's so much misinformation that's getting out there and being spread, and there's so much mismanagement of taxpayers' money, your taxpayers' money. Thank y'all. You have a good evening.
As I always tell y'all, is to legislate. You guys do not run the day-to-day operation, and you need to stop trying to. The job of the day-to-day operation is overseen by the village administrator, the management, and myself as your mayor. So please respect how the setup is. And it was like that before we got here. So what's any different? Because I'm a woman, so everybody want to run what I do. Y'all didn't try to run when Rowdy Rogers was up here, when Shaw was up here, when everybody that had this seat before me, you guys didn't say anything or attack them the way you attack me. Protect your mayor like you protect your mom, your sister, your daughter, your loved one. Make sure you be respectful of people when they have an opinion as relates to giving you an answer. That's all I ever ask for everybody up here, because I give the same to the board of trustees. When they want to speak, we let them speak in general announcement. We be quiet and we hear them out. And then when it's my time to speak, I give you my spiel of what we have been doing throughout our 1 month before y'all see us in another month. So that's what we're going to do this evening. You will hear from myself. You will hear from my department heads as it relates to everything that's going on in the Village of Dalton. So first one, because I want to set some records straight. And please hold your comments. Because at the end of the day, I never ever said my side of the story. You hear one side. And I wish people would stop listening to one side, get both sides. If anybody was taught the right way, is hear all the information, then make judgment of things that you might hear that goes on. So to the right, we're going to put on the screen, and it will be the video as it relates to fake news. And yes, I said it. Trustee Ed Steve, you lost your seat. It is fake news as it relates to things that you guys hear in the media. It's a shame that y'all see one station that comes here in our village and go rampant on your mayor, and the trustees stand back and watch them do it. It's a shame that Trustee Norwood, Trustee Kiana Belcher, Trustee Tammy Brown, and Trustee Jason House will go and stand before the media and be so negative as it relates to anything that's going on in our city. I have stated for the record, and I've stated several times, if you guys have a problem, an issue, ring my phone. I give my phone number out all the time to everybody. I'm gonna give it out again just in case you guys don't have it. 708-297-6859. Trustees, 708-297-6859. So let me break down how the media sit here and drag people that they don't like, that they cannot control, that cannot be bought. Because that's really what the issue is. If y'all ain't seen it by now, the issue is people trying to control your mayor. I am a woman, but guess what? I'm a pit in the skirt. Understand that when I say that. And I'm not going to take no mess from nobody. I mean that. So y'all better become a little harder than that, because y'all trying to drag my name. It ain't gonna work. At the end of the day, I keep telling y'all gonna put some respect on my name. I earned my seat. I won by 82%. I don't know how many times I got to keep telling y'all this. The people
hold
voted
it down
for
in
me.
the audience, please.
Thank you. The people voted for me to lead, and that's exactly what I tend to do, lead, not follow you guys, because you guys can't even follow each other, don't even know which way is up. You guys keeping us in a deficit. Every time they talk about deficit, y'all should ask them who creating this deficit. But tonight, hopefully you will get a lot of clarity of what's going on in our village. So here we go.
All right, guys, so you saw all the clips there. I mean, holy cow. Almost $300,000 in salary. She's leasing a Tahoe for almost $150,000. Now, I went online and I tried to find the city bylaws, the village bylaws, the ordinances, and I couldn't find them. Definitely not on their website. It has a little link that says ordinances, but when you touch it, it doesn't go anywhere. I Googled them. I wasn't getting any luck. If anybody has any luck and can point out the where I can find the village ordinances or their bylaws, please link that in the comments, or, you know, it probably won't show up. The link won't show up in the comments. Go ahead and email me at patriotdiscussions@gmail.com, because, you know, I don't even know if this mayor's entitled to get a vehicle, right? It's a small burg. It's 20,000 people, right? 21,000 people. But think about that, 20,000 people. So just to pay for her lease on her Tahoe cost each and every person, man, woman, and child, and toddler, or even toddler, cost them like $7 to $8 a piece just to lease the Tahoe, right? You got 20,000 people and 150,000 bucks. It's like $7 or $8 per person. That's just math off the top of my head. I'm sure it's probably like 6.978 or something. Who knows? The point is that it's just way too much. Can you imagine, you know, your mayor coming to you and being like, "Hey, let me get $8 off you so I can rent this $150,000 Tahoe, even though the median salary in my city is only $25,000." You know what I mean? That's the average salary, $25,000 there. It's just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. Until we start addressing stuff like this, I mean, there's nothing that's gonna happen. And the security detail, I mean, for real, you're not Beyonce. You know what I mean? You're not Prince Charles. You're not the Pope. You know what I mean? Like, again, though, I mean, when you're stealing this much money from the people, it's probably pretty smart to have some protection, you know, when you're shutting down people's businesses and their livelihood and you're taxing people to the hilt. Then, you know, a security detail probably is, you know, needed. It's just, but in reality, we all know that nobody's going to do anything. But it's just incredible amount of waste here. Again, even her own board of trustees is suing the lady. So it's not, you know, it doesn't get much worse than that. This is probably one of the worst mayors, even above the mayor that we saw last night for Cold Springs. I mean, this is one of the worst I've ever seen. Alright guys, we'll catch you on the next one.